Welcome to Just Minding My Business Media. I am so happy that you joined us today. And are you in for a treat? Today we have Jim Bramlett, who is a seasoned entrepreneur, business strategist, and executive coach with over 40 years of experience across multiple industries. Today, Jim is going to share some of his insights in his books, The Unconventional Thinking of Dominant Companies and Stop the Hassle, where he outlines a proven formula for success, emphasizing on customer value, leadership, and strategic alignment. Well, welcome, Jim. I am so happy that you're here.
Ida, I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. Wow, I can't wait to jump into this. So, what inspired you to write these books?
That's a great question because I never in a million years would have thought I would be an author. And what ended up happening, I got asked to speak to a conference, and they said, Greenfield, pick a pick a topic. And I sat and thought, and finally landed on um, kind of some reasons for organic growth. And that percolated this whole idea for me on, well, how did Amazon get to be the unicorn they became and just jettison past Walmart? How did Uber and Lyft, how did they nearly put the cab industry out of business? And Netflix did put Blockbuster out of business. And I started studying that, and I determined they had a formula, even though they may not even realize or promote the formula, but it's a very common formula, and and it all stems from them meeting what we buyers are looking for. And I believe there are four things that we buyers look for to determine what we buy and from whom. And those four things are, number one is convenience. We're looking as buyers, we want to save time, we want to save effort, we want simpler, and we want easier. We don't want more complexities in our life. We're looking to save money, but we're also looking for pricing transparency. We don't like the surprises we get, like flying. Oh, by the way, there's a $200 fee you didn't know about, or the resort fees and all these surprises. We want to know what we're spending before we make a purchase. So transparency is important. Number three is we're looking for a great user experience. We want to be treated like we're their only customer for any vendor, even though they might have thousands or millions of customers. We want professionalism. We want to have our questions answered because a lot of times we have questions about what we're about to buy, and I really don't like working with bots, right? I want to talk to a human a lot of times, and that's a great user experience. And the fourth one is trust. When we're buying, we want to trust that we're going to get what they're promising or what we perceive to be what we're buying. We have a certain perception on every purchase. Even if we're driving through McDonald's, our perception isn't a gourmet meal, but our perception is I do want my food hot. And oh, by the way, I want my French fries in my combination meal. I don't want to drive away and go, oh, they missed that. But we like guarantees, we like warranties, we like free returns. All of that enables us to trust. And it's very hard to deliver on all four of those. But for those who do, Amazon, Netflix, and Uber, they actually don't give us buyers very many excuses not to buy from them. And so that's what inspired the first book was here's what those companies have done. And this second book, Stop the Hassle, was what every company can and should be doing along that line. But I added a cultural aspect. In other words, I could come in and consult with a company and tell them, well, here's how you can improve your sales by meeting these four criteria here, here, and here. But will they sustain that? Maybe, maybe not. But if you have the right culture, the right people, and the right processes, then but I think you constantly have to be improving upon it. You got to constantly be more convenient. You got to constantly be working on your costs, your user experience, and trust. Because if you don't, competitors will come around and do it instead of you. So
Absolutely.
long-winded answer there.
But it's the truth. You ain't never lied. It's the very and it's simple things. Um, but sometimes hard, like you said, hard for companies to do. And then some companies don't do it. What about those companies that don't do it, but
I,
they still seem to make money? I mean,
I,
I've gone to restaurants and the food ain't good at all, but people still coming in.
right. I believe that there are companies who have a trade-off, a conscious trade-off. And I use these examples. Let's take Jiffy Lube. They're all about convenience, but for a price. So now I have an excuse. Well, I'm not going to use Jiffy Lube because it costs a lot of money. I can go to Walmart and get my oil changed, but it's going to take twice the amount of time at trade-off.
Mhm.
Even Walmart itself, they're founded and they're based on everyday low prices, roll back America, but the user experience, hope you like checking yourself out. The stores aren't always laid out consistently. You don't know if they got the product you're looking for. So people will have an excuse. I got friends who will not go to Walmart. And then take just the opposite. You have Nordstrom. They cater to those with really awesome products, personal shoppers. The experience is going to be awesome, but going to be pricey. Another conscious trade off. So it's very difficult, in my opinion, to hit on all four. The companies that have a trade off have to target market those consumers or those buyers who have that particular personal value. Like, hey, I shop at Walmart, I do because of price. I'm not so in tune with the experience. I'll go through checking myself out because of the price. So those kind of companies have to cater to that segment of customer who value what their main business proposition is. But those who can try and hit all four and minimize excuses are going to grow the fastest, as proven by Amazon, Netflix, Uber, and more.
Yes, you're absolutely right. Because Amazon has good customer service. Whenever I call, I mean, they have some automation in there, but I get to speak to somebody
Yep.
because
And
I don't
I
want
can
to talk
buy
to
I can buy with one click.
anybody. Yeah.
They're a marketplace, so I get a lot of options on the product I'm looking for.
Yes.
I get testimonials from my peers. I,
Hmm.
oh, what did you think of that product? Oh, okay, you liked it. I'm now more convinced I can trust that
Right.
that product's. I got free returns, easy returns with Amazon, and so I think they hit it out of the park on hitting on all four cylinders. Yeah,
Yes. Now, if you're a smaller company, and as you well know, most smaller companies, they probably cater more to customer service
absolutely.
because they are trying to build their business. They're not at a point where they're at, a household name. Let's put it that way. And I think customer service means a lot to them.
I I think I think customer service, customer experience.
Hmm.
Okay, you want to you know, you don't go into Walmart and they say, "Oh, welcome back, Ida."
No,
You know,
they don't.
you're one of thousands who pass through the door. So if you're a smaller business, the more personalized, the more convenient you can be. So, hey, you don't have the buying power of a Walmart. I get it. But leverage the trust, the user experience, the convenience
Mhm.
way beyond what the big box who might have the better buying power. And you'll find customers who go, I just love buying from them because they treat me so well. It's really convenient. It's so easy. It's so simple. And so when you have a weakness that you can overcome, leverage the others.
Wow. So do you have classes, workshops, and things like that to help people move into those spaces?
Not yet, but I'm working on that.
Okay.
I just published the second book pretty recently, and I'm working on that because I do want to get the word out. I love that smaller businesses can grow organically if they really are in tune with what it is we buyers are looking for.
Mhm.
And my personal value system says I value convenience more than I do the experience. I think time's our most precious commodity. And if somebody can save me time and effort, I'm going to pay attention. And so one of the things I preach, Ida, is that we live in a very competitive world, and we buyers have alternatives. And so any company, any seller needs to understand what are those alternatives that your buyer has. And then how do you compare on convenience, user experience? Yeah, you do need to know how you compare on price, but and also on trust. What are you doing there? And find out. You should buy from your competitors and understand that full experience, and then work on where you understand you're deficient and constantly improve upon that. And so that's part of what would be in my workshop would be, okay, let's understand who your main competitors are and how do you learn what they're doing from a convenience, a price, a user experience, and a trust standpoint. And then the other part of the workshop is the cultural side. I'm a big proponent on value propositions. And so many companies confuse value proposition with feature proposition. I grew up in the transportation and shipping uh, industry, and way too often on a website, oh, we have 100 trucks and we cover Kansas City. I maintain that buyers are only mildly interested in what it is you do. They're totally interested in what they need, what problem they're trying to solve. And so a value proposition has to address that, saying, oh, we deliver Kansas City faster, better, less damage, and with more information at a competitive price than anyone. Oh, okay, versus we have 100 trucks and we cover Kansas City. So I believe way too many have a feature proposition. So part of what I extol in building in my seminars is how to shape a proper value proposition, how to build out a proper website that gets their attention, has the testimonials, how's it work, how easy, how simple, all of the things that buyers are looking for, how to build a customer centric culture. I also extol that product diversification is important. And I'll give you this example. I have a chapter in my book on this, and it's a weird chapter. It's called The Story of Cheese. And I say, you can go into any grocery store, and if you want to buy the lowest cost cheese, buy a block of cheese. Okay. Now, if you're making a taco salad, get out your shredder and and shred that away. If you're making sandwiches, you can slice that block. If you're just wanting to have snacks, you can make cubes of that. But that takes extra time, extra work. Yes, on a cost per ounce or pound that block's going to be cheaper, but you can buy packaged shredded cheese. You can buy blocks. You can buy sandwich slices of cheese. Yes, it's going to cost you a little bit more per ounce, but you're going to save a lot of time and effort and probably a lot of waste because of the crumbles. And so sell more than one option for a customer because you will have people who only shop on price. I'm going to buy the block of cheese. You will have shoppers who say, I want the user experience. I'm going to buy that package of shredded cheese. And so if you're selling a service or merchandise, the more options you give to a customer, the more apt you are to ring up a sale. Don't just give them one option.
Yes, because people like choices.
They do. They
They-
like choice. And a great example, when we went through the pandemic, we had a neighborhood restaurant. You know, nobody was going out to eat. And so restaurants were struggling. Well, what they did, they used their buying power and their chefs, and they did prepackaged uncooked meals or cooked meals, right? You could carry out, or hey, I got another option for you. I'll give you all the ingredients like a meal kit and come get that and cook it yourself for a little bit lower. So I had options. And
Mhm.
and and I love that where you have multiple options and I'm more inclined to do business with you based on what my personal value system is.
Absolutely. And then it all depends. Sometimes, um, uh, what are we talking? Lost my train of thought. Uh,
It
well,
happens.
sometimes convenience is important, and other times not so important.
Absolutely. I use this example. If I'm driving down the interstate and I pull off for I need gas. Well, I'm going to pull off to the right and I'm going to be looking for a gas station on the right. Otherwise, I have to go across the overpass, maybe through a light, and that just takes extra time. Why do I and by the way, the gas is going to be priced exactly the same on either side. But if on the right side is a dingy 30-year-old gas station that's not well lit and kind of dirty, but I see a new one across there that's got to give me a better user experience and especially a better restroom. I, I, I'm going to choose that. But if they're both equally look the same, I'm going to be more convenient, save time, stay on the right side because I don't want to go across and come back. That's how that's how our brains work.
Yeah,
It really is.
absolutely. You're so right because I do that all the time. If I'm going, I try to look at stuff that's I can just make a right into,
Absolutely.
as opposed to having to go to, like you said, go through a light, maybe make a U-turn, all that extra stuff that's not on my route.
That's right. And convenience stores, but their name, convenience. You're not going to get, the best pricing, but if you need a snack, a drink, a lottery ticket, they position themselves to where you're going to get in and out of there pretty quickly. Uh,
Yes.
and that's what they're all about. That's their value proposition.
Yes, and their prices are a lot higher because you're paying for convenience.
That's right. That absolutely. That's absolutely how it works.
Yes. Wow, Jim. So how do people connect with you and get the book?
Well, I have a website called jimbramlett.com, and you can get the book there. You can connect with me there. I'm out on LinkedIn. My book is available in Audible and print on Amazon. And I think there's other sites, but I don't know them all. Um, I'm, uh, I'm just blessed to be able to, share some of my lessons. I've throughout my career, I've been known to start companies, start divisions, or offer new products, but it was only, two-thirds of the way through my career did I ever give it some thought that, oh, look, you got to create a product that is appealing to buyers. And it's not about us, it's about them. What is it they're looking for? And so that's when I really got better at when I started companies or when I started a product, thinking it's not about us. Take down our mirrors. It's not about us, it's about them. What is it that those buyers, those customers are looking for?
Yeah.
And so yeah, I'm working on the some seminar and material, but just to buy the book, you can get it on my website, on Amazon, and many other places that sell books.
Okay. So the unconventional thinking and stop the hassle, a how they're power combo, but totally different.
They are one was the first one was, well, just this is what Amazon, Netflix, Uber, used a couple local. Here's what they're doing to dominate their space, dominate their competitors. And then I decided, well, wait a minute, I need to write a book that talks to what any and every company can do. And it's not just a concept for those who sell merchandise.
Mhm.
If you are selling a service, the same thing applies. We're looking for four things as a buyer: convenience, price. We're looking for a great experience, and we want to trust that you're going to deliver what we are expecting. And that applies across the board. So, and then again, to sustain that, I really believe it can't be just the leader of the company sitting at the top. It has to be throughout the culture because I need people to constantly be reinventing themselves, saving time off, not only the product, but I also believe the buying process. Okay. Like when you go out and buy something off of a website, if it takes you through multiple pages and and you know a lot of inputs on your address and your th- be as simple and easy as possible, and you constantly have to be developing that. And now with the development of AI, and again, I'm not a huge bot fan because I think we humans like to talk to other humans,
Yes.
but there's a lot AI can do to improve the experience, to take costs out of a company, and so again, you've got to be looking at that and constantly be working on it. So you need a culture where everybody on the team is constantly understanding what customers are looking for, constantly improving upon the basic criteria by which they make a decision.
Absolutely. Because you're not doing it by yourself. It's a team effort, and your product goes through different people, different processes go through different departments and things
Absolutely.
like that. Yes, I agree.
Absolutely.
Yes, because I know I will spend more if the experience is great for a product.
Absolutely. I have a friend, I'm not going to mention names. I have a friend, they will only fly first class because of that experience, right? I've got friends who only shop at Nordstrom because of that experience. So that's their personal value system. My personal value system says I want convenience. I system says I'm price. And then others who say, I'm not buying a product unless I know somebody who's bought that product and had a good experience, or I unequivocally can get my money back. And so we're all different that way. That's why the companies who can deliver on all four have people who say, can't use an excuse. Well, I'm not buying from you because of this or that. The more
Right.
you can meet those four criteria, the better off you're going to be.
Yes, and it's work in progress. I mean, it definitely Amazon didn't have all that day one.
That is very true. As you know, Amazon started off as selling books.
Right.
Now they're selling cars. I just learned this.
Yeah.
You can buy a Honda. Now I don't know if that's going to be delivered to your porch, but you can now buy cars on Amazon. So they have come a long way in
And they're
in what they
into
offer.
the medical scene.
Yeah,
I don't do mail order medicine. I want to go to see who's doing my prescription. I don't
Aha,
trust the sale.
trust,
I don't
trust.
trust it.
And there you go.
It
There you go. That's one of your value.
that is
That's your personal value system, at least for pharmaceuticals or medicines, right?
yes,
And I
yes.
don't blame you. I don't blame you.
Because I mean, suppose they mess up. They all the way in California somewhere. I can't get to California like that.
Yep, exactly. Well, and you got it coming from Canada or overseas, and you have no idea if it's FDA approved. And so trust is a big deal when it comes to, trust is a really big deal when you pick a doctor, right? Because you're
Yes.
dealing in your life. And that, nobody ever asks, well, what's this life-saving operation going to cost me? They don't ask that question. They ask, let's talk about how many of these kind of surgeries have you done? What's your experience? That's what we ask when it comes to life-saving surgeries, not
So
not dollars.
you got that right. So it depends on the product, what value system you invoke.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Wow. This is great, Jim. I'm loving this. This is really good. And for businesses out there, you know, it's important that you keep those four principles in place. And I mean, as humans, we like those four principles.
We do. And another thing I profess, Ida, is, um, in my 40 plus years in business, I've worked for myself a few times and worked for others. I found it astonishing the lack of customer centric metrics or KPIs.
Hmm.
Most every meeting I ever went into, we always started, well, let's look at our revenue, or let's look at our costs, let's look at our budgets, let's look at our IT projects. Where I want to know, well, how many customers did we gain last month and why? Oh, and by the way, how many did we lose and why did we lose them? Because
Yes.
again, I'm a big Jeff Bezos fan. And Jeff Bezos, when he started Amazon, he put the customer at the center of their universe, and everything was engineered around us customers backward. And it's all about the customer. And that's why, um, I say it starts with product because the product is what's going to satisfy the customers. And once you do that, now you got the people, you have the processes, you have the purpose that's much more meaningful. But they put their number one leadership principle is that leaders will obsess about the customer. Obsess, which I think is a very powerful word, not just care. We obsess about the customer because
And
the
that's
customer drives
important
everything.
because that drives revenue. At the end of the day, you have no customers, you have no revenue.
Yeah, that is exactly right. And now I'm not saying people and process and purpose aren't important, but it starts with the customer. Well, how do you get those customers? Having the right product.
Right.
Amen.
Absolutely. Wow. This has been great, Jim. So again, how do people connect with you
Jim
and get
Bramlett,
the book?
JimBramlett.com. I'm out on LinkedIn as Jim Bramlett, and I'm happy to connect that way. My email is jim@jimbramlett.com. So just Google me. I'm sure you'll be able to find me, and I'm happy to connect with anyone who's passionate about growing their company the right way.
Yes. Yes, because we want to start the ground up, getting it right. Not that we won't make mistakes in
Right.
in that quest of getting it right, but that's what leads to right, the mistakes.
Uh, yeah, that's very true. And I tell wannabe entrepreneurs, yes, you can go follow your passion, but I think it's better to look at any industry or business where they're not very convenient or they cost too much or they're not given a very good user experience or you can't trust them. If you can find in your market any company in any industry that's not meeting those, now you have an opportunity to start a business and beat them. And even though you like cooking, if you go start a restaurant and you're not paying attention to the customers, you have you're putting handcuffs on for survival. You got to really start with what customers are looking for, and if they're not getting what they're looking for, that's what you go do. Go solve that. Um, that's what you should do.
All righty now. So you make it sound so simple, Jim.
Well, it's not. It's not at all. But as long as you have a guiding light that it's all about the customer and the product you offer, the rest can take care of itself, even though it's still going to be a slog and a journey. But you got a much better chance at hitting something big than just going out and saying, I like this and I'm going to go build a company about what I like.
Yeah, yeah. Be about the customer.
That's right. That's exactly right.
Thank you so much, Jim. I appreciate you meeting with us today and sharing these awesome gems you just shared. And I am looking forward to collaborating with you again. This has been
I
amazing.
would love that, Ida. Thank you for having me. Thank you for what you do because you're a beacon of education and we need people like you to enlighten the masses. And so thank you for doing that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I love it. I learned so much from doing this work.
I'll bet you do. I'll bet you do.
All righty now.